How you doing, Citysteaders? Another wonderful day out here enjoying the beauty that is this little greenhouse. Or hoop house or high tunnel, whatever you want to call it. I'll let you call it whatever you want to call it. I call it the greenhouse because that's what it's supposed to mimic. And I have lots of dreams and hopes that one day this thing will be green in December inside here. That is my dream. So, working toward that dream, one of the things that we've been talking about is the idea of thermal mass. And I originally came up with an idea. You guys saw it in the other video when I was talking about it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to put it back here along that wall behind that table. Well, you guys brought up a lot of good points, which thank you so much for your input and feedback on that. And it really means a lot to me when you guys comment and give me feedback about things and talk through ideas with me, because sometimes I get something in my head and I think, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because I can do this and this with it. And some of the things I wanted to do just really weren't that feasible or good for the ideal of running a thermal mass. So if you remember correctly, I wanted to put it back here on this wall behind this, and I was thinking about putting something over it to use it like a tabletop. And a lot of you guys were like, hey, if you put something over it and you put it behind that wall with a bench in front of it, it's not going to get a lot of sun. Very good point. So with that being said, the only other option really is to come over here and put them along this wall over here. So that's what we're gonna do, because there is no other better place to put them with everything I've built in here, and it's the only space I kind of left open and available. And it also happens to be that this wall gets the most sun. Well, actually technically this wall gets the most sun. But as the sun's coming over top of our property, it comes over the greenhouse and sets over here. Actually kind of angles a bit more in the winter, so it kind of comes up over here and angles off to the side that way. But houses, garages, no matter what, this side of the greenhouse would be late in the afternoon, not getting a lot of light. As you can see, once the sun gets to a certain point, and this garage just shades out this whole greenhouse. So I think, sit you guys down. So I think what we did was the best for our property and to get the most sunlight for where it was. Maybe if I angled the greenhouse itself a little bit more, actually it would have been this way, it might have been a little bit better, but the way everything was set up already that I'd already been working with, this was the best position to put this greenhouse, which is why I chose it. So another thing that you guys pointed out to me as I was in my other video about this, trying to set it up and trying to figure out where the best way to set it up is, I had presented you with these patio stones, see right there, and I was gonna set them on this. And many of you, I was gonna set them on those stones, but many of you presented me with the correct answer of that will also act as a sink, so it'll take the heat from the barrels and try to transfer it to the ground, because stone is also a thermal mass. So what you guys said was I got to put something between it, like some wood or foam. I do happen to have a couple of these little wood planks here, and we're going to set them on these stones, and then we're going to set our barrels on the wood to kind of get them off the ground just a hair and have some insulation between them and the ground. I think this is going to be the best idea. So let me show you how I'm going to set this up. So I've already gone through and set the stones, leveled them pretty much level for what I can get with the ground that I have. And I put the planks on top. Get another plank up here. So now we got our planks over top of our stone. We got a nice looking base down here. Very clean, very suitable to just put these rain barrels right on top of it.
Won't last if you stay too long. The weather's burning hot, but summer's lost its way to you. Nice, real nice fun has taken its toll on everything you know. Later, as you talk over the day, the sun goes away and shade does fade. I know this.
I may actually have to go a little bit more toward me with the stones and the wood and make sure they're not touching the outside edge here. Or I can just put some kind of stake right behind them to just basically hold this out of here, which is all it really needs, just not be touching, which is all it really needs, is just not make contact with the outside plastic. So as I brought up in the other video, I am concerned that I'm being fed just a bunch of fisherman's tales, you know, like that this works and it's just a great thing to do. And it may very well work in a lot of climates, but do a lot of climates have the same cold snaps and temperatures that we do, where we're consistently below freezing for days on end, you know, like that I'm not sure. Like maybe in Tennessee or North Carolina, this is a perfectly fine method of heating a greenhouse. Maybe over in Northern California or any of those places where it's, you know, warm but a little bit cooler at night, maybe it's good and perfect for that. We don't have a lot of sun here. As evident by this year so far, our sun has been very minimal, to the point where it feels like we've already gone through an entire winter just because we've had such a lack of sun. So we're gonna set it up like this. I am going to fill these now because I believe this is going to be my final resting spot for them. You guys can see them right here. And one of the reasons I was kind of going with this position here after talking with you guys through your comments and doing a little more looking is that I wanted to kind of be centralized in the greenhouse, but also close to where I have the crops, because it's not going to blast heat all the way across the greenhouse, but it is going to radiate heat around it. I can't put it on top of my bed or in my bed because it'll be in the walkway then. So I have to go the opposite side of that bed, right next to the other bed, the smaller bed that we have. So I'm hoping that will help some. And the other thing we might want to do afterward is maybe we will put a frame around the bottom of these barrels and fill it with dirt, and we'll actually plant right next to these barrels. If they prove to put any kind of heat out. If they prove to not do anything, then they're going to go outside and then just going to become rain collection barrels. Because if they're not going to do any kind of work inside this greenhouse, I really don't need them in here. And I think a lot of you kind of understand that. Like, if you're doing things and they don't work, there's no sense in keeping them around. So if I put all these in here and I go through all this effort and time, and then I'm, you know, monitoring them and I find out that I get zero heat from them, and maybe they are just freezing in here and not doing anything for me, then they're not beneficial to this greenhouse and they can leave. Now, I'm not going to say if they don't work by themselves, I'm going to kick them out. I do have a couple ideas of things to try with them in, you know, to try to help them do what they're supposed to do. So that will be coming. You'll see that. I got another couple ideas. I kind of feel like I'm dragging a little bit today. It might be because I actually am. I've been pretty exhausted from all these vlogs and just working on the greenhouse, trying to get things done, and I've been home with the kids a lot. So I'm a little bit tired lately. Just gotta admit it. I'm just tired. So, but this is the ideal. We're gonna set them up, we're gonna fill them up, we're gonna start seeing what they do. So everything's sealed off fairly well. I want to put insulation still in the ends. But as far as gaps around the doors and windows, they're sealed up. Nothing's coming through there. I mean, whatever's coming through is very, very minimal. I still might try to do a couple things to really, really tighten those down. But I think we're at a point now where we can actually start seeing if this will give us any kind of results. And I'm already nervous just because we have so little sun this year. So I'm really bummed that we've had such a cold start to the winter already, because that doesn't really give me a lot of confidence about how the rest of the year is going to go. I mean, we still have January and February, which are the really bad months for us to worry about. So really want to see if this works, because if it doesn't, I want to quickly try to get to the next thing to see if that works any better. So stay tuned for more greenhouse experimentation, greenhouse heating, whatever you want to call it. More work on this little greenhouse to try to pump it up and build it into something that actually works and produces throughout the winter for us. That's it. See you guys in the next one.